Shalom Israel first. I want to give all praise, glory, honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Shah, Ba'ashem Kakadash, the Warren C. Apostle, Elder Millstone. Peace, salutation to one third of Israel. And for this lesson, I don't know what I'm entitled it yet, but basically, just going into the times we living in, right? And because I was meditating about how people may try to deem us crazy, this, that, and third, for wanting these prophecies to take place. And prophecies that are about to take place is major destruction, and that's what we're hoping for, right? Because I'm just gonna read it, let the precept speak for itself. But this is Romans 13 and 11. It says, "In that, knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for our salvation is nearer than when we believed." All right. And how do we know our salvation is near? Is because look at the signs. Look at the prophecies are speaking loud and clear. Because when you read, let's get it. 2 9:1. 2 9:1. It says, "He answered me and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made." All right. And I'm going to keep reading. "Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning." It says, "For like as all that is in the world has a beginning and an end, and the end is manifest." All right. So basically, we're in the end days. What's going on right now? Earthquakes, that are rampant, and it proved that. I literally just seen a article for an earthquake in Washington, I believe, or magnitude 4.2 earthquake strikes near Great Falls, Montana. All right. Iran deploys army of 1,000 military drones on standby as fears of imminent U.S. attack intensifies. All right. So there's always something going on every day. All right. That's how we're at the end. And really, we're looking out for those major prophecies, the MOTB, the microchip, pursuant to Revelation 13 and 16, that has to be implemented. And, it's gradually getting pushed out there, talks, the talks are out there. All right, now it's just a time of, implementation, all right? Because, they're not just gonna tell you got to take it. Like, people ain't gonna take that. But there has to be a problem and then a solution. They have to cause a problem, and then they're gonna present that MOTB as a solution to the problem. Oh, if you want to operate in a society, you got to take this chip. All right, because a great crash is coming. All right, and all hell's gonna be breaking loose. And that's what we need. That's what we want, because the sooner the better. All right, and that goes to bring this precept in right here. 2 Ezra 4 and I'll start 29. It says, 2 Ezra 4 and 29. It says, "If therefore that which is sown be not turned upside down, and if the place where the evil is sown pass not away, then cannot it come that is sown with good." And what's that good place? That's the kingdom of heaven, which is going to be on earth, and which entails the Israelites being on top, beginning with Yahushua, King David, 144,000. The elect on down. All right, we're gonna be ruling lower than we probably elect, but it's gonna be our turn. Let me hold down and stand by. Because this devil has an appointed rulership. 6 and 9. All right, this is 2 Ezra 6 and 9. It says, "For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth." And we're living at the last leg of Esau's rulership. The last few seconds of Esau's rulership. Hence why he's scrambling right now and trying to implement his NWO. All right, because he knows who got next. You know, that's why he's so afraid. That we're waking up to this truth. He sees, the angels in heaven. He knows who Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is. They know, right? That's why they're scared. All right. But this goes to signify that we got next. All right. And that place, the kingdom of heaven, us rulers, being rulers, living in total euphoria, that rest that we're aching for, that's not gonna come unless this place gets destroyed. All right. And hence why, we're so hasty, for this place to be destroyed. All right, because even our forefathers of old had that spirit. To prove that, let's go to Acts 1 and okay, yeah, 6. I just read it right past it. All right, this is Acts 1 and 6. All right, this is the disciples turned apostles, talking to Yahushua, after his resurrection. It says, when they therefore were come together, they asked of him, saying, Lord, will thou at this time restore again the kingdom of Israel? All right, and that's what we've been waiting for, and we're so much closer to that, the restoration of the kingdom, where we're gonna be on top forever. But it says, and he said unto them, it is not for you to know the times or the seasons which the Father had put in his own power. All right, so it wasn't appointed for the Lord to rule during that time. But here shortly, the Lord is about to come back and conquer, these kingdoms. You read in Revelation, King of Kings, Lord of Lords. And he's coming with many crowns. There you go. And that signifies, Yahushua coming to basically conquer the whole earth. All right. And we're going to be joint heirs with Yahushua. Lord willing, we part the elect. And that's what we're waiting for, because Jake think that this place is just, this is life. This is not fucking life. This is captivity. This is hell. All right. And once you know that, you start to get mad. All right. Scripture says, surely oppression maketh a wise man mad. And with much wisdom comes much sorrow, and with much knowledge comes much grief. All right, so once you understand the predicament you're in, once you understand, what we're here for and why we're suffering, it's heavy on your mind. You're just out of place. And I say out of place in this world. You stick out like a sore thumb. All right, which is beautiful, but it's also mentally straining. Because we're groaning. We're complaining continually, for this place to be destroyed, so the kingdom can be established. All right. Well, let me just, Jeremiah 2:14, it says, Israel's servant, is he a homeborn slave? Why is he spoiled? We in captivity because we sin, but our release day is here. It's coming soon. All right, very soon. But let me get this right here next. 2 Peter 2:7, it says, and deliver just Lot, vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. All right, and that's how we as a hopeful elect feel. Like I said, we don't fit in. Hate this fucking place. You're sick of paying bills, sick of dealing with these people, sick of going to work. Sick of being oppressed. And you got niggas that don't care. They love it here. As long as they can smoke weed, play PlayStation, and fuck a couple hoes, I'm good. Well, and see, and then that ain't shit, bro. Because in the kingdom, bro, we gonna be living. It's gonna be beyond our imagination, And we gonna do everything in righteousness, because the reason why we in this predicament is because we sin, all right? And we ain't gonna sin no more in the kingdom. Which is going to be beautiful in itself, because sin brings forth death. And that's the reason why we die. We suffer because of our sins. You can read that in 1 Maccabees, the 7th chapter. I believe it's 1 Maccabees, the 7th chapter, or 2 Maccabees, the 7th chapter. But I wanted to make a point. Oh, with the sting of Let me just get that right quick. Well, let me keep reading. It says, for that righteous man dwelling among them and seeing and hearing vex his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds. All right, and that's, like I said, that's how we feel. All right. There you go. 1 Corinthians 15, and I'll start at 50. It says, now this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of the Most High, neither doth corruption inherit incorruption. All right, and right now, we incorruptible flesh. We're bound to sin. We're subject to sin. All right, and we're waiting for Yahweh Shai to make us perfect, just like He is. All right, because once you perfect, bro, it's game over. You can't sin. You it's nothing but blessings. All right, because the reason why we're cursed is because we sin. Read Deuteronomy 28 chapter. That's literally the contract between Israel and the Most High. You keep these commandments, these blessings shall overcome. These blessings shall overtake you. But if you disobey these commandments, then you're gonna get punished for it, and that's what happened. But in the kingdom, we all gonna be righteous. So therefore, we all gonna be perfect, and we all just gonna be we gonna be in the blessings for eternity. All right, because we never gonna die. It says, in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. And that's what we're aching for. We're aching for that change. You don't got to worry about body aches, fucking headache, toothache, being tired all the time and shit like that. All right, you gonna have perfect everything. We're gonna be perfect. We're gonna be looking good, smelling good, feeling good. Like, damn. But it's a problem when we want to stay here or we don't want to, like, nah, bro. Because when you come into this truth puts you have to put on a ruling class mentality, a ruling class, because that's what we are. All right, let's get that royal. 1 Peter 2:9, it says, but ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, and holy nation, a peculiar people, that ye should show forth the praises of him who hath called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. All right, so we're a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a peculiar people. All right, but we on the bottom because we still in captivity. But the Lord, he's about to redeem us real soon. All right, so that's why the Lord said, pray for fewer days. The kingdom is already prepared for you. Watch. Like, that's why we basically hasting for these prophecies to come to pass. Throwing up curses on this place daily, because the sooner the better. Because and ultimately, if you're not in that crying out spirit, that's an issue. All right, that means you're comfortable here in captivity. All right, you're comfortable here in Babylon. You just love it here. You don't gotta say it. You don't gotta love it here, but you're too comfortable here. All right. When Revelation 12:11 says, or I believe it's 12:11, it says basically the elect love not the lives unto the death. All right. So basically, you're not gonna love your life here. All right. I said it's all humility, but we part of counting the cost is we might have to die for the truth. And if we got to, may the Lord put the spirit on us to do so. Because what the fuck do we have here? I got a job. I gotta go. Like, bro, fuck that. Fuck that job. Fuck all this shit. All right? We're looking for new heavens and new earth wherein dwelleth righteousness. All right? And where we gonna be the kings, the priests, on earth. We're gonna have palaces, just a precious stone. The streets paved with gold. And you're going to have tons of women, tons of children, all in righteousness. You don't have to worry about shit. And you're going to be at rest. You're not going to have to worry about, oh, man. All right, you hang out with bros, and then y'all got to go. You got to dip. All right, and then you go home, and maybe your woman fucking giving you hell or some shit going on. There's always some fucking issue here. All right, that's why we want this place to be gone. All right. This because once this place gets destroyed, that's gonna be the solution to all our problems. Babylon being here in captivity, this has been nothing but hell. All right, which it it should be, because it's captivity. You're not supposed to feel good, but we like I said, we hasty in the day. All right, the sooner the better. All right, but let me go to Luke 18:7. It says, "And shall not the Most High avenge his own elect, which cry day and night unto him, though he bear long with them?" All right, just backing up, what I was saying. The elect are gonna sigh and cry continually. Let's get that in Second Esdras. It's the ninth verse. Second Esdras 15:7. It says, Therefore saith the Lord, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, the innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. All right, and also, what we can't wait to see is the fall of our enemies. The judgments that the Lord got for this place. All right, we just hope that we're on the right hand side, of the Lord when these judgments come down. All right, we're on the side of mercy, because this place got to go. All right, it's nothing but wickedness here, and these people, nothing but proud ass people here. Like, a great humility is coming, and we just hope to see it. All right, because that's a part of a blessing. It's seeing the fall of your enemies. Let's see. Let me keep reading. It says, And therefore said the Lord, I will surely avenge them and receive unto me all the innocent blood from among men. All right, so redemption is coming, but we gotta endure. All right, and Lord willing, we do, us as a hopeful elect. But let me get that scripture since I said it. Let's see. So there'd be 10 things. I'll just quote it, but basically it said, basically a chief thing, actually no, let me see. There you go. Sirach 25:7. It says, There be 9 things which I have judged in mine heart to be happy, and the 10th I will utter with my tongue. A man that had joy of his children. All right, in the kingdom we gonna get that, but here you can't get that. You say you got a daughter. She might be a fucking OnlyFans model. All right, or a son. It's a glorious thing to have a son, but shit, who knows what your son might be? Nigga might be a fucking raging Mo, like. But and these are possibilities here in captivity. But in the kingdom, that shit ain't gonna happen. Only fucking Babylon. It's all this confusion here is tolerated and pushed. All right, and even speaking out against it is, oh, you're this, you're that, man. Like you niggas. What scripture say? Woe unto him that called evil good and good evil. What's that? Isaiah 5:20. So basically, there's a judgment for that. You niggas are on that perverse shit. Oh, just because if it's not affecting me, well, I support it, but I don't do it. Well, that's like a crime. You didn't do it. But you didn't say nothing. Like, at the end of the day, you're still with the shit, so you're gonna be destroyed with it. But it says, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy. All right, and that's what, Lord willing, that's what's about to take place. All right, we're gonna see this man Esau Edom get taken down, and as well as you niggas and you heathens. All right, but mainly Esau Edom. All right, because this nigga has been nothing but a cancer on the earth, and it's gonna be beautiful when this nigga get taken down. All right. To get that, let me get Isaiah 14. So ultimately, the whole earth is gonna be at rest when this nigga gets taken down. All right, this is Isaiah 14, and start at 1. It says, "But the Lord will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob." All right, and it's only talking about Israelites. All right, it says, "And the people shall take them, all right, and bring them to their place, and that people, and that people is Israel, taking them, the heathens, shall bring them to their place, and the house of the Lord shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids." So you heathens, y'all gonna be our servants, you know, just like we're your servants right now. We on the bottom right now. Hey, many that are first shall be last, and the last shall be first. So the Lord's about to do a whole flipperoonie in this motherfucker. All right, and He's about to put the right rulers, you know, in place. All right, we're the true judges of the earth, you know. But Esau, he hit it. Job 9-24. He trying to paint himself as the judges. But the whole time niggas were fucking Mo. All right. It says, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. And that's coming real soon. All right. So ultimately, all this to say, you know, this is all part of the blessings. This is all part of the sweetness, you know, that we have coming if we endure, Lord willing. All right. So why the fuck would you want to stay here and continue to be a slave? But it ultimately doesn't matter if you want to stay here or not, because prophecies want to take place, you know. Just like niggas, what's that? Romans 3:3. So the unbelief. Let me get that right quick. Romans 3:3. It says, "For what is some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of the Most High without effect? The Most High forbid. Yea, let the Most High be true, but every man a liar. As it is written, that thou mightest be justified in thy sayings, and mightest overcome when thou art judged." All right, so ultimately, prophecy is still going to take place whether you believe it or not. You know, everyone is subject to prophecy, you know, because the Lord's will, His words don't go out void. All right, so, but anywho, let me keep reading. It says, "And it shall come to pass in that day, the Lord shall give thee rest from thy sorrow, and from thy fear, and from the hard bondage whereon thou was made to serve." And that's what's coming, that rest, you know, because I believe if you read Hebrews 13-14, if I'm not mistaken, but it's in Hebrews. It says, "For here we have no continuing city, but we seek one to come." And that's the kingdom, which is full of rest. You know, that's that place full of good things. All right. But we got to walk that straight gate to get there. All right. Reading, that's in the 207th chapter. But it says, yeah, so rest is coming. You know, all the bullshit, all the problems we deal with here, you ain't going to have to deal with that shit in the kingdom. But, you know, in order for us to get there, this place got to be destroyed. All right. But it says, "Thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, and say, how the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased. The Lord had broken the staff, the wicked, and the scepter of the rulers. He who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke. He that ruled the nations in anger is persecuted and none hindered." All right, and it says continual. This nigga don't stop. All right, that's why the Lord said, if the Lord ain't shorten the days, no flesh would be saved, because this fucking devil is ruining everything. All right, he's a madman, and he needs to be stopped. All right, but it says, "He who smote the people," yeah, okay. It says, "The whole earth is at rest and is quiet; they break forth into singing." All right, so when this cancer gets taken out of power, then the whole earth is going to be rejoicing. You know, everything's going to go back in its correct order. You know, but you know, obviously, work has to be done. It's not just going to be the snap of the fingers. You know, you heathens going to be working. All right. It says, "Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon saying, since thou art laid down, no feathers come up against us." All right, so even the trees gonna be rejoicing. Like, oh man, this nigga stop chopping us down for no reason. Fuck Esau, bro. But I'm gonna end it off on here. Second Ezra 2 and 13. It says, "Go and ye shall receive, pray for a few days unto you, that they may be shortened. The kingdom is already prepared for you. Watch." All right, and that's the mindset we in. praying for fewer days, you know, hastening these prophecies, so that way we can get the fuck out of here. All right, but in the meantime, we gotta continue to give diligence to make our calling and election sure. All right, because we part of the hopeful elect. We'll know if we're the elect, in the times to come. All right, which Lord willing we are. All right, but with that said, I don't mean to drag it too much. Hopefully this is well said and edifying. With that, I want to give all praise and honor to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, Bashim Kakodash. Next time, Shalom.